CTV News with Angela Mackenzie.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. The Montreal Canadiens are one win away from securing a spot in the Eastern Conference Final. They won 6-3 tonight in Buffalo. Here in Montreal, fans gathered to watch the action in anticipation of the possibility that the Habs could advance on home ice. Kelly Gregg reports.
A high-scoring playoff game and a bad night for goaltenders at both ends of the ice. Once again, an early goal, this one just 2 minutes in.
And a shot here, scores! Buffalo strikes first!
That goal coming on just the second shot of the game as the Sabres jump out to an early lead. Then it's Cole Caulfield with the patient setup by Captain Nick Suzuki. That's Caulfield's first 5-on-5 goal in the playoffs. His last even-strength goal coming all the way back on April 9th. Then I hope you didn't get up from the couch because there's 2 goals in the span of just 11 seconds. One as Montreal fails to clear the puck. Then they come right back and it's Alexandre Texier to even it up again.
Off Texier! It's a wild start here in Buffalo when the game is even again.
The 5th goal of the first period alone scored way out on Jacob Dobesh. That makes it 3-2. Now, I don't know what was said in the room during the first intermission, but Montreal comes out flying, and it's Habs for the rest of the game, scoring 3 goals in the middle frame off the stick of Josh Anderson, a great feed there by Lane Hudson. Jake Evans taps it home after the puck trickles out to give the Habs their first lead of the night. Then on the power play, it's Suzuki, but check out this one-handed pass by Juraj Slafkovsky to set it up. Third period now, and Ivan Demidov gets his first career playoff goal, this one on the power play. A big smile from the 20-year-old, and congratulations from his coach on the milestone. A late push by Buffalo, including over 6 minutes of empty net play, but Montreal hangs on to win this one 6-3 on the road.
And a comeback win here tonight.
I don't know, I was described it as just, just cool to score and feeling good right now because, how many chances I have in other games and I didn't score, so just relieve this pressure from my back, we are a really good team and they had my back, then I had their back, they had my back and forth, and we were just feeding off each other, and then we took a little bit of lead and hung on to it. So.
Here at the historic Rialto Theatre, fans gathered for a watch party. It was free admission, but had they charged, fans certainly would have gotten their money's worth. This venue normally hosts cultural events, but what's more Montreal than watching a Habs playoff game? This was an all-ages event, and there were plenty of kids out on the school night. Now I asked fans if they prefer a high-scoring game like tonight or a low-scoring goalie battle. Here's what they had to say.
I definitely prefer high-scoring. It's just more fun to watch. It's more engaging. The players seem happier.
Yeah, more chances for celebrations, right? So that's always fun.
Goalie battle is much more fun. Watching Dobesh do what he can do is it's crazy.
High scoring for sure. More action, more suspense.
The Habs Nordiques rivalry, a thing of the past, as 15,000 fans pack into the Quebec City Centre Vidéotron to take in the action there too. The Habs now 1 game away from advancing to the Eastern Conference Final. That all-important Game 6 will be on Saturday night at the Bell Centre. Kelly Gregg, CTV News.
Another big win for Montreal's other professional hockey team. The Montreal Victtoire beat the Ottawa Charge in Game 1 of the PWHL Walter Cup Finals. They won 3-2 in overtime. Our Olivia O'Malley is there. Olivia, this team loves overtime.
Angela, so do the fans. Here's their reaction leaving Place Belle after the Montreal Victoire's overtime win. Fan favorite Abby Rock sealed the win using her face. About 2.5 minutes into overtime, recording her second goal of the night. It was a come-from-behind win. The Victoire were down 2-1 with under a minute to go in the third, and some fans were already packing up to leave. But with just 2 seconds left, Nicole Gosling tied it up, punching the Victoire's ticket to overtime. Laura Stacey returned for overtime. She previously left the game after getting hit into the boards and needed help getting off the ice. It was a rare moment where the crowd was quiet because Place Bell was rocking for Game 1, even after the Ottawa Charge scored the first goal. It's the Victoire fans' first chance to witness the team in the PWHL Walter Cup finals. The previous 2 years, the team has not made it past the semifinals. Both franchises are looking for their first ever championship in this all-Canadian showdown. This is a best-of-5 series, so the Victoire need to win 2 more games to hoist the Walter Cup. Post-game, hometown fans and some who even drove all the way from New Brunswick say they believe the Victoire can get it done in 3.
In three, for sure.
It's my first game that I've ever seen in PWHL, and it makes me really happy to see them win.
Absolutely fabulous. Who needs more than 3 seconds to score?
Oh, my feeling is good.
Yeah, when they scored that goal with 2 seconds left, yeah, that's why they're Victoire. That's Victoire hockey.
And post-game reaction is coming in now. Here's Rock describing the game winner.
And I just saw the puck go right between my eyes, and I was like, okay. And then it somehow went in. I was just hoping. I was like, that's a goal, right? Good goal.
Our team to be able to pull something off like that, I just feel like it has gone with how we've played throughout this entire playoff series of just never quitting. We could have been down and out after their second goal, and all playoff long. We just never quit in those moments.
Angela, I got a lot of 2s coming up for you. The 2 teams are getting ready for Game 2 now on Saturday here at Place Bell at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Back to you.
That's a lot of 2s. Thank you, Olivia. That's Olivia O'Malley live at the Place Bell in Laval. Well, Grand Prix weekend is just over a week away, and the city's sex workers are planning to go on strike. Laurence Brisson-Dubroy reports.
Mélinamé says sex workers often operate in a system filled with gray zones, both legally and in the workplace.
In massage parlors, in strip clubs, bosses are just like little king in their workplaces. They do whatever they want.
She says that can mean workers being fired without warning or forced into paying costly fees just to do their job. And with Grand Prix weekend approaching, some sex workers are now pushing back. The Sex Work Autonomous Committee is organizing a strike in strip clubs and massage parlors on May 23rd, the day races begin. One of their main targets, the bar fee. Money strippers are required to pay to work a shift. They are also expected to tip staff, including DJs, bouncers, and managers. Adore Goldman says those fees can get even higher during busy events like F1.
If you don't tip well, maybe you won't receive as much protection from the bouncer. So it's also exploitative in that way.
The group says Grand Prix weekend is one of the most profitable times of the year for club owners, but also one of the most dicey for workers.
It's a time during the year that there might be more violence in the clubs because it's a more hectic environment.
The group is also calling for access to unemployment benefits, workplace protections, and across the country, the decriminalization of sex work. Researcher Francine Tremblay says current laws still leave workers vulnerable.
It creates a definite unbalance because to be criminalized, you're illegitimate and you have very little protection. As a matter of fact, it depends where you work, but it's from little to not at all.
She says events like the Grand Prix can magnify existing problems in the industry. For organizers, this strike is about pushing for labor rights.
There's no club. There's no club without strippers.
They are calling on other sex workers from out of town to take part in their protest. Laurence Brisson-Dubroy, CTV News.
2 former finance ministers have given a blunt assessment of the state of Quebec's infrastructure. They say it's deteriorating faster than municipalities can afford to fix it, and the solution is to raise taxes. Matt Gilmore reports.
The evidence is all around us. Quebec's infrastructure is old and dilapidated and in desperate need of significant investment.
We have reached the limit. And if we want to leave to our children infrastructures, I'm not talking about a new arena. I'm talking about access to water, access to immediate needs for the society, for the people. We have to react now.
Monique Jérôme Forget and Nicolas Marceau, both former finance ministers from different parties, say maintaining and replacing Quebec's current roads and water systems will cost tens of billions of dollars.
Those infrastructures were all built at the same time, more or less, okay? 50, 60, 70 years ago. And over the years, the governments, all governments included, his and mine, ignored this situation. And now, unfortunately, we have to face up to our responsibility.
They're calling on the province to cut red tape and fund a $16 billion infrastructure fund, available only to cities that raise property taxes above the rate of inflation. Construction costs, they argue, are rising at around 8% per year, and city revenues have to keep up.
If we don't do it now, it will be far worse later.
But taxpayer advocates say governments have to prove they can spend more efficiently.
Taxpayers in Quebec have been paying their fair share for years. It's up to the cities to take the harsh decision to actually cut spendings and prioritize maintenance over new infrastructure.
Montreal's mayor refused to comment on the proposal to raise taxes, but wrote, "We've seen it since our arrival, and the Union of Municipalities rang the alarm bells. We're dealing with years of underinvestment in critical infrastructure, and it's our responsibility to ensure that we reverse the trend. That will take all levels of government working together before we hit the wall." At the National Assembly, the parties agreed Quebec's infrastructure needs immediate attention, but would also not commit to the measures proposed by the two former ministers. Matt Gilmore, CTV News.
Quebec's Commissioner for Children's Well-Being and Rights says children's rights are limited in Quebec. The laws don't provide them enough protection. Commissioner Marie-Ève Brunet-Kitchen recommends Quebec adopt a Children's Charter of Rights. The commissioner and her team plan to tour Quebec this fall to consult children directly. The Deputy Commissioner, Alexandre Baudouin, says the charter would be a major step forward.
Up to now, what happens with the right that we have for children in Quebec is that they are really scattered and unevenly applied. So that's really hard for them to be, they're really hard for us, or almost everybody, I would say, adult or children, to be able to take into account those rights. What we want to do with the charter is bring all of them into one basic place where everybody's going to be able to find everything at one place. So it's going to be much easier for them to be aware of their rights and to be able to use their rights and in the appropriate timing.
The Commission for Children's Well-Being and Rights was established last year and was a key recommendation of the Laurent Commission. An apology today from Sona Lakoyan-Oliver. She's the MNA for Chomedy who violated ethics codes.
C'est avec beaucoup de respect et d'humilité que je prends aujourd'hui la parole afin d'accepter les conclusions et les recommandations de la commissaire à l'éthique et à la déontologie. Je souhaite également présenter mes excuses sincères.
The Ethics Commissioner concluded that Lakoyan-Oliver used her constituency office for partisan purposes during the Quebec Liberal Party leadership race. Lakoyan-Oliver was expelled from the Liberal Party and is currently sitting as an independent. Today, she suggested she plans to remain in office despite calls for her to resign from the National Assembly.
I'm recommending for her very firmly to step down, to resign, and I don't see how she can continue and maintain the confidence that Quebecers should have within their institutions. So the only thing for her to do now is to resign.
The ethics commissioner also said Lacoya Oliver tried to obstruct her investigation. She has recommended a fine of $8,000. Well, Quebec plans to expand its language laws to include adult education and vocational programs. That means thousands of students would be moved into the French sector, and that's raising concerns. Matt Grillo reports.
It came up during a budget study at the National Assembly. French language minister Jean-François Roberge says 27,000 students could migrate to the French network.
Qui ne sont pas des ayants droit.
These are people who do not have the right to attend English language elementary or high school, says the minister. As it stands, Bill 101 does not apply to adult education or vocational programs. Anglo rights group TALK isn't convinced this move would protect the French language.
The PQ never did this. René Lévesque never talked about this. What does this really achieve?
There are concerns about what impact this would have on English school boards.
Funding is tied to enrollment. So if enrollment goes down, funding goes down. And if funding goes down, we have less ability to be able to provide certain services.
English Montreal School Board Chair Joe Ortona says revenue from vocational programs is reinvested in the board's youth sector.
With budget cuts, unfortunately, comes difficult decisions that we have to make. What is it that we're going to be able to keep, and what is it that we're not going to be able to keep?
And there are concerns about what this will mean for the economy if students decide to study elsewhere or drop out.
The economic importance these students have in the labor market. On the altar of French and identity, we are sacrificing probably some economic benefits.
Ortona doesn't think the French service centers can meet the demand.
They don't have the staffing for it, they don't have the resources for it, and that's not something that they're going to be able to get overnight.
Quebec Solidaire MNA Alexandre Leduc questioned the minister on that issue.
Demain matin, le réseau francophone peut absorber comme ça 27 000 personnes.
Quebec says there will be a transition period.
Je pense que comme gouvernement nationaliste, on a le devoir de faire quelque chose.
As a nationalist government, we have the duty to do something, Roberge said. Work to draft the bill is already underway, but the CAQ doesn't have much time left. The parliamentary session ends on June 12th. Matt Grillo, CTV News.
A 15-year-old boy was rushed to hospital after being stabbed in front of St. Henri High School. Witnesses called 911 just after noon to report the stabbing. The teen was stabbed in the upper body, but he was conscious when taken to hospital and is expected to recover from his injuries. Police say the suspects fled the scene. They're looking at surveillance video and speaking to witnesses. About a dozen cars and trucks were damaged by fire overnight in Saint Laurent. Police were called to a parking lot on Saint Francois at 1:30 this morning. 3 trucks were engulfed in flames and another 10 vehicles were damaged. Police say fire accelerants were found on the scene. Well, CP Rail has been cleared of all responsibility in the train derailment and explosion in Lac-Mégantic. In 2013, a train carrying oil tankers derailed. The ensuing explosion destroyed downtown Lac-Mégantic and killed 47 people. The train was owned by Montreal Main and Atlantic Railway, and the tracks were part of the CP network. The victims' families and other groups were trying to sue CP Rail and had appealed to the Supreme Court, but the court refused to hear the appeal and said 2 lower court rulings should stand. When we return, the river shuttle is coming back for another summer on the St. Lawrence.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
Increasing number of abandoned buildings.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVMontreal.ca, your home for news.
The new REM line on the West Island opens next week. The line has seen delays, cost overruns, and reliability issues, but its developer sees only promise for the future. Genevieve Bushman joined him for a ride.
The longest automated light rail system in the world, the REM is adding 4 new stations, connecting the West Island of Montreal to the city centre.
I guess you've ridden this line a few times.
I have. Each time that we actually open up a segment, I tried a few times.
CTV hopped on with Charles Lemont, president and CEO of La Caisse, the developer and operator, now tasked with convincing West Islanders to come on board.
This is a significant way of creating wealth, moving people around, doing what's right for the planet.
The vast majority of commuters here are now drivers, and light rail transit reliability issues have shaken trust in the system. Ice and mechanical problems have repeatedly stopped the REM in its tracks, leaving passengers waiting for a ride.
I'm so tired.
It's really unacceptable.
We are always late. We're always waiting around.
You're in the West Island. Let's say you didn't take your car that day. If the REM breaks down, it's hard.
It's hard, and I get it.
Imo says interruptions have gone down by half in recent months.
We're at 99% reliability, so people can actually come and take the train and be very confident that they're going to get to destination fast. They're going to save a lot of time.
On average, there are 80,000 boardings a day on the existing REM. La Caisse hopes to eventually get to 150,000 for return on investment. Imo says the Caisse might finance and operate future projects differently, but that overall this has been a worthwhile investment for Quebecers.
We've shown ourselves that we can build something that's world-class at the right cost in the right amount of time. It never comes without any hiccups, I acknowledge it, but I think it should give us confidence that we can do that going forward.
The next phase is the link to Trudeau International Airport, scheduled to get rolling by the end of 2027. After an open house this weekend for the people from the West Island, the trains will officially start rolling on May 18th. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Dollars des Ormeaux, Quebec.
And we have more on the new REM line on our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca. Well, people looking for an alternative to their daily commute through traffic can soon add the river shuttle to their options. Starting next weekend, there will be 6 routes serving Montreal, Longueuil, Boucherville, and Varennes. Tickets are $6 until July, $7 after that, and children 10 and under ride for free. Most monthly transit passes apply to the shuttle. The Regional Transport Authority calls it a sustainable alternative to driving.
Menswear provided by Ernest. Elevate your style with Ernest. For breaking news and local news that matters to you, download the CTV News app right now by scanning the QR code on your screen using your smartphone. Or you can also go to our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca. Weather brought to you by Gratian Scaff's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
Well, it was another cool and damp start to the day, starting with our wake-up temperature of 9 degrees. Now, this was the case in Val d'Or, moving down to Montreal and over to the Sherbrooke area. That is just 1 degree warmer than our normal overnight low for this time of year. And if we look to our normal high, we haven't been seeing too much of that 19 degrees lately either. But in 2004 is when we did hit a record high of 29.2 degrees. In less than a week, we could actually be seeing temperatures even warmer than that. And we're starting off strong tonight. We're looking at a low of 11, along with mainly cloudy skies, holding on to those clouds as we move into tomorrow morning, and then they start to clear. So by afternoon, we're looking at a lighter load with those clouds, some sunshine coming in with that daytime high at 20 degrees. So already starting to see some above seasonal weather. Our futurecast showing us again those clouds clearing as we head into tomorrow morning. We do see some showers developing in the surrounding areas in the province, more so as we get toward the Gaspé Peninsula. So keep that in mind if you're headed over there. But even that is looking like it should clear out by Friday night. And then we are seeing sun and clouds well into the weekend and even into early next week. And good news again with those daytime highs. It's been a while since we've seen this, but daytime highs for almost a week are expected to be in the 20s, possibly even the high 20s. So we see the weekend starting with that high of 24 on Saturday, moving down to 22 for Sunday and Monday. And then on Tuesday, we could hit a high of 27 degrees. Now with humidity, that could feel even warmer. 34 is what we're forecasting as the real feel. But there is a caveat that would be along with some thunder showers. So looking at roughly 8 millimeters coming in, you'll want to keep that in mind. But by this time next week, we could be back to sun and clouds.
All right, thanks, Anastasia. I'm definitely looking forward to that warmer weather and hopefully getting outside this weekend. That's it for us. For the latest news, you can listen to the Andrew Carter Morning Show at 5 on CJAD 800 or go to ctvnewsmontreal.ca. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.